Taiwan has many of the same demographic issues as these other economies. So the population is aging rapidly. There's been a falling number of young people, a rising number of older people, like all of the same issues which are dragging down the overall population, as is seen in Korea and Japan. Those issues are very much prevalent in Taiwan. But what we're not seeing in Taiwan is an increase in their participation rates. Female workers, it is increasing, but nowhere near as rapidly as in the rest of the region. And remarkably, the retirement age in Taiwan is remarkably low compared with the rest of the region. And the number of older people working is much lower than it is elsewhere. And so there isn't that flexibility in the labour market that's being seen. And one big reason for this is because of the part-time worker stuff. So in Taiwan, unlike these other economies, there isn't an increase in the proportion of jobs which are part-time workers. And therefore, there isn't that flexibility in the labour market that allows more people who want to have a more flexible working style to come back and work. Why is this important? Because if the population overall isn't increasing, but also the participation rate isn't rising, the demographics start to have a constraining impact on the labour market in a way which isn't seen elsewhere. And so when you look at the aggregate number of hours being worked in Taiwan, it does remain very high. So unlike in Korea, where there's a disjoint between employment on the one hand and working hours on the other, in Taiwan that doesn't exist. So when we look at the labour market in Taiwan, where the unemployment rate is also like 20-year lows, that labour market signal is much more meaningful in Taiwan because it does suggest the labour market is much tighter because there isn't the change in the supply side that's happening in Korea.